This is my client Allie, and today is her wedding day. Me and Allie did not meet for a trial because she lives in Toronto and she didn't come to Nova Scotia before her wedding. When we were doing our consultation before I started her makeup, she showed me a picture of Hailey Bieber on her wedding day. And I was like, sit down, shut up, and let's do this. I've studied Hailey Bieber tirelessly, and I was ready for this moment. I prepped Allie's face with the Magic Cream from Charlotte Tilbury. You can see it's got a little glow on there. And then I used the color Taupe from MAC. This is one of their brow pencils. And I just filled them in very gently. After I was done her eyebrows, I started prepping her eyelids for all of her eyeshadow. I'm using the color Light Beige from Too Faced, Born This Way. And then I'm setting it with Pound Cake from Huda Beauty. It's really important to prep your eyelids before you put on any eyeshadow. It's going to get rid of any veins or discoloration that's usually on top of your eyelids. It's also really important that once you put your concealer on top of your eye, that you set it with a translucent powder. This is Pound Cake from Huda Beauty, and you're just going to dust a little bit over top of your concealer. So Hailey Bieber eyeshadow is very simple. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury palette. This is the Dreamscape palette. It has very beautiful colors in it. I'm taking the middle color and I'm putting that all over the eyelid. I'm using a fluffy brush and I'm blending that right up into the crease. Once that is all blended out, I'm taking the same fluffy brush and I'm going into the bronzer color that's in this palette. It's my favorite bronzer. It's got a little sheen to it and I'm putting that right into the crease. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but this is it. This is all the eyeshadow we're going to need. Obviously, we're going to add some eyeliner and lashes, but we're keeping it very simple. For eyeliner, I just used a chocolate brown powder, and then I'm putting the Ardell Demi Wispies right on top. These lashes are just enough to create that Hailey Bieber eye look that we want. Now, Allie has a spray tan, so I'm going to mix together NC13 and NC30 from the MAC Studio Fix. I'm mixing those all up, and I'm going to add a few layers of foundation. With this look, I want the skin to be the best it's ever been. It needs to be glowing, fresh, youthful. Let's just say the skin is going to be the star of this makeup look. I blended her foundation for literally 6 minutes. So I'm just adding a layer, pushing it into the skin, adding a layer, pushing it into the skin. I did this about 3 times. Now I know that all y'all are going to be coming at me. That's too much foundation. But you know what? It's a wedding, so just relax. I don't want too much of a contrast between her foundation and her concealer because this is supposed to still look natural. So this is the Born This Way concealer in light beige, and I am just lightly highlighting underneath her eyes, the top of her nose, her chin, her forehead, and the sides of her face. To blend in the concealer, I'm using the 71 brush from Sephora, and then I'm taking my BK Beauty 101 brush, which is what I use to blend in her foundation, and I'm just pushing that back into the skin. The more you do this, the better your foundation and concealer is going to look. Now, Allie is 24 years old. She has no fine lines underneath her eyes, so I can really pack this on, and I'm also going to pack on the powder, but you can't do this with everyone. You need to be careful. I am lightly baking underneath her eyes with Pound Cake from Huda Beauty. I'm just leaving it there for a minute just to soak in, and then I'm just going to brush it all off. This is going to make her under eyes really nice and bright and look very smooth. One of my favorite colors to put underneath the eye is Woodwinked from MAC. It's not too dark, and it gives a nice little bronzy color and a nice sheen. For contour, I like to use a nice bright color, so this is the color Medium from Charlotte Tilbury. I really don't like using cool tones into the contour area. You can see here how it's really giving structure to that side of her face and giving some dimension to her face. This is going to be especially important for pictures. Everything in this look is somewhat neutral. I'm using the color Ecstasy from Charlotte Tilbury, putting that right on the apple of her cheek, a little bit underneath her eye, and up into her temple. In my Dior palette, I'm using the lightest shimmer right on top of her cheekbone and the really nice pink shimmer right on the apple of her cheek. The lightest shimmer also goes on the top of her nose, her tear duct, and underneath her brow bone. I wanted to get her lips pretty close to Hailey Bieber's on her wedding day, so I'm lining with a pinky brown color. Then I put on the color Very Victoria from Charlotte Tilbury, and then I added one of the Fenty lip balms. This was in the color Shimmering Rose Nude. This was Allie before I did her makeup, and this was her after. Jacqueline did this sleek little bun. What do you guys think? Is she giving you Hailey Bieber vibes?